All right, everyone. You're going to have to pardon any background music or background noise. This is a request for question 15 from 5.4, and it looks like this. We have 3 sine 2x minus 1 equals a 0 for the domain 0 to 2 pi. Now, if you were to, I'm going to fast forward. I'm going to assume that you were able to at least simplify to get to that point. Okay, which means for two things, I think in class I said when you get to this point, you're going to ask to, you should be doing two things. Number one, figure out what quadrant we're dealing with. And then number two, what will be the related angles so that you can actually find, well, in this case, x. So for the first part, seeing how sine of some angle is going to be a positive 1 over 3. Using cast rule, C-A-S-T, I know we're dealing with quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. Moving on. If that was the case, what would be the actual related angle if we were to work with a positive 1 over 3? Now, by now you should recognize that 1 over 3 is not a nice, I guess, a special triangle angle. So I have no choice but to actually solve it based on this. So 3398. I'm going to go real far and do 4 decimal places. This is 0.3398 radians. That gives me a value of 1 over 3. So what does that mean if it was in quadrant 2? Well, so if this is the angle that I'm dealing with in quadrant 1, that is equal to the related angle, which is 0.3398. But at the same time, remember that quadrant, gosh, the angle in quadrant 1 is going to be coterminal with all angles of that, right? And so, yeah, let's leave it at that for now. And for quadrant 2, the angle that we find is going to be pi minus the related angle, which is pi minus 0.3398, which if I were to 0.3398 as accurately as I can, it would be approximately 2.8018 radians. But of course, don't forget that this also is coterminal with all angles plus 2 pi, right? A multiple of 2 pi. Now, this would be the end of my question if this was just sine x. But remember, the angle that we're dealing with is actually equal to 2x. So my x is going to be what is 0.301699 radians plus 1 pi, okay? And if this was equal to 2x, well, then x is going to be 1.4009 radians plus pi k. Let's also note that would be the end of my question, but it actually specifies the domain. It has to be all angles between 0 and 2 pi. And remember, it's every angle with a addition of a multiple of a single pi. So if I were to add pi with 0.1699, it would be 3.31492, blah, blah, blah. So approximately 3.3149. Okay, so that would be still within 2 pi, because remember 2 pi is approximately 6.28 radians. And this, if I add another pi to it, 1.4009 added with a regular pi is going to be 4.5425, which is still under 6.28 radians. So the total number of answers I have is actually 4. The first one would be just 0.1699 radians, as well as 3.3149 radians. The second two answers is 1.4009 radians, as well as 4.5425 radians. These two are part of quadrant 1 and coterminal. This is quadrant 2 and our coterminal. Hope that was clear enough. If not, please let me know. Keep studying and good luck.